Hey guys, it's Kristen and Bethany here with Girl Defined Ministries, and in today's vlog, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of online dating.
So if you're single or you were married recently, probably even like you know, newly fresh married, you probably have noticed that online dating is really becoming something that's kind of all around us. I know for me that it's become something that people highly recommend for me to do. They're like, hey, so I know you're like 29 and not married. Maybe you should check out online dating.
Like, have you seen this site?
I know. Maybe this can help you out. And I totally get it. I know people are just trying to be nice and help me out. And I've actually thought a lot about it because it is something that's become so normal in our day and age. And in fact, we both know like really godly people who have met and gotten married through online dating, which is crazy that there's something like that out there where you can actually meet a total stranger online, two godly people actually getting married, which is crazy. But then on the other hand, being single and knowing a lot of single girls, I've heard some disastrous stories of girls who are saying, I'm never getting on it again. It was horrible. It didn't work for me. It was just terrible. Creeper guy. I'm never doing that again. So there's some serious, two sides to the story. Personally, for me, after weighing the pros and cons for myself and where I am in life, I've chosen not to do online dating as a personal choice. And I don't think
I don't know if it was as popular when I got married. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I guess I found Zach before I had time to think about it.
Yes, she gotta escape all of this. So if you're single and you've contemplated the thought, or if you've heard people talk about it, we don't really want to come down and say, here's what you need to do. We just want to present two options. Say, here are the pros, here are the cons. Really take both of them and think through them before you make a decision to go online. So here are the pros and cons of online dating.
So we're going to start with the pros. We're going to give you 4 different pros of online dating. The first possible pro: online dating can help differentiate between the intentional and the non-intentional. So basically, when you get online and you're saying, I am interested in being in a relationship, I'm interested in getting married, and you're on maybe like a better site. I know there's lots of different options, but like maybe a solid Christian site, the people on there are actually wanting to be intentional as well, right? You're all getting on there striving to be intentional. So that is one possible pro of online dating, is that you're all seeking a relationship.
The second pro is that it expands your pool of fish. So if you're like looking around like, I don't see any options, getting online is a way that you will definitely expand your options. You could have the possibility of meeting people from all over. So if you are looking around and you don't see an option, getting online could be a possible pro for you.
And number 3, personality, preference, and religion matches. So when you get on these sites, which I never have, but we know a lot of people who have, and they tell us how these work, and I've kind of looked through them before. They are so detailed in evaluating you as a person as you put in your information, your beliefs, your background, your personalities, your likes, your interests, your dislikes, habits, like so many different things. And so that could be a possible pro, is that as you get on and evaluate other people's profiles, if they're honest, you can know a lot about someone, and it can actually create some somewhat potentially good matches.
And number 4, you can make your marriage interest known. So if you're like, well, I really want to get married, but you don't want to just go stand like in your singles group and be like, hey y'all, I'm ready for marriage. Getting online is kind of a way to let the guys know, like, hey, I'm ready, I'm interested. So if you want the guys to know, like, hey, yeah, I am ready, getting online and letting the guys that are serious on there know that you are an option and you are interested. You're not just there for fun and games. You are serious about marriage, and you can make that known by getting online.
So there are just a few of the possible pros for online dating. We know there are others.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do here really is just to get you thinking for yourself. So you don't just jump into making a decision. This is for you to sit down and go, oh, I never thought about that. And we know there's a lot of other things that you could add to this list. So now we're going to jump into the possible cons of online dating. So possible con number 1 of online dating is the dangers of the unknown. So when you go online and you make this profile and you're evaluating other people's profiles and the program's matching you, whatever, you don't really know anything about this person except what they're presenting to you. And what they're presenting to you could be a total lie. So you want to believe the best of people, but online you really don't know. And we've talked to girls who have run into some really scary situations with guys who really put their best foot forward, put their best front forward, and that wasn't really who they were at all. And it's hard to know that unless you really get to know this person more intimately. So that can be a possible con, just the dangers of the unknown.
And number 2, a possible con is that it's a time consumer. It really takes a lot of time to build these profiles, interact with people, send emails back and forth. A lot of communication has to take place in order to get to know someone. And now I know there are those stories. I've met people where they're like, yeah, it was the first person I met, and then, we lived happily ever after. I would say that's not the norm. Normally, it takes people a long time of interacting. So you really need to evaluate and say, do I have the time to invest into this? Do I have the hours necessary? And is this a good use of my time? So that is a possible con, the time-consuming aspect of it.
And number 3, online dating often tends to isolate the relationship. So what we mean by that is when you're going online and you're meeting someone, you're communicating with them, there's a lot of correspondence, there's a lot of emails, there's a lot of maybe Skype, phone calls, just between you and this person, which can be okay, but it can also be a problem because you're not intentionally bringing other people into the relationship, and it can be really hard to do that when there's so much one-on-one. So when considering online dating, you really need to be careful to think about, okay, if I'm going to pursue this, that's a con. I don't want to be isolated. I need the wisdom. I need the mentorship. I need the input of others knowing who this guy is that I'm talking to, because he could be anybody. Remember, we don't know who he is. So if you're going to pursue it, you want to be so careful to make sure you involve a lot of wise people and to not make it an isolated relationship.
And number 4, a possible lack of trust in God. I know this one, for me, is probably the biggest con for me for going online, is that I'm kind of taking my trust off of God and saying, God, I kind of need to control this. You don't really know what you're doing in my life. I really need to kind of get the ball rolling because I don't trust that you could provide. And this is something that's really a heart motive. Like, only you know if this is in your heart. Only you know if you're trying to control things, if you're trying to, say, okay, God doesn't know what he's doing. He's not big enough to help me in my love life. So I'm going to get the ball rolling. I'm going to make things happen because without myself, this won't happen. God's not big enough to give me a guy in a relationship. And that's something that I've had to wrestle with. And it's something that I would really encourage you to think through before going online. Evaluate your heart. Say, am I trusting in God with all of my heart? Do I believe that he could provide in this area? And if you genuinely believe that and you really feel like online dating is a tool, well, maybe your heart really is in the right place. But I encourage you to evaluate and check if you are not trusting fully in God.
And the last and final con of online dating that we want to talk about is that it can tend to rush you through your single years. And since you're still single, I think you should speak into this one.
Okay. So this is something that I've really had to think about, because I used to have this perspective that singleness was kind of a bad thing. And I wanted to get to marriage as quickly as possible because marriage was the best and singleness was the worst. Get out of the singleness. When I had to have kind of like a heart check and a vision check, because marriage is a wonderful thing. But singleness is also a wonderful thing as well. The goal of both of them really is to use our lives within those seasons to serve God wholeheartedly. And I've noticed oftentimes that me and even my single friends, we tend to try to rush through our single year, trying to get past them so we can get to marriage. And we end up wasting so much time and opportunity. There's so many amazing benefits of being single and serving God. We have more flexibility. We have more time and mental energy just to think about others because we don't have a husband that we have to care for. So instead of rushing through your single years and viewing them as like the worst and the bad thing that you want to get through, try to view them through a different lens. Say, wow, God, how can I serve you in this unique season of life? How can I invest into others? How can I disciple others? How can I use this season to live more fully for you? And I think if you do that, you may not feel this need to want to rush through them. So I really challenge you to think, am I viewing singleness as a bad thing? Or am I entrusting this to God and striving not to rush through these years?
So we hope these pros and cons have really given you a lot to chew on. And like we said before, there are a lot of other things we could add to both of these lists. But we just want to use this vlog to get your wheels turning, to get your brain thinking, because we're guessing if you're single and you're living in this modern day and age, you've come across online dating sites. Your friends have told you about it. You've heard of people doing it, and you might be wondering, well, is it right for me? I don't know. So that's why we created this video, so you could think for yourself and start evaluating the pros and cons and whether or not this would be something you could use in your life as a tool, or if it would be more of a hindrance for you.
Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from us, you can subscribe to our channel below because we post new videos every Wednesday.
Good, George.
I thought I did a pretty good job.
Good. The first one is...
You didn't say possible pros.
One is... Oh, no.
The second pro is that good. I almost thought you were stopping.
I thought I was too. I was like, wait, I gotta keep going.
I was like,
okay,
you always go confident.
Okay, no. I'd rather be confident.
It'll be fine. Hey guys, if you're still watching, we're excited because that means you like what you see, and we like that you're watching, or else we wouldn't really make these videos. But we're so excited that you're still here, and we have something really exciting to tell you. We want you to join arms with us, link arms with us, become a part of the Girl Defined team by joining us on Patreon. Patreon is so incredible because it's like this way for you to just help us continue doing what we're doing by supporting our ministry. So whether it's with just like $1, $3, $5 per video, it's just super small amounts for you to help us continue doing this. If you would love to support us in that way, which we would totally love you to do that, then you can click the link below. Just go to our page, patreon.com/girldefined, to help us continue this YouTube channel.